Hello, welcome to Podcast vs. Play, episode 236. I'm one of your hosts, Karl, and as always, I'm joined by a man who found a bullet in his avocado. I guess you could call it guacamole. It's any bloody Dan!
Hello.
Hello! How the diddly devil are you?
I'm in a very bad mood today, Callum, so I'm hoping that you can pull me out of this funk with your magical...
Spunk.
I guess.
Weirdly enough, that's how we've... Not that exactly, but that's how we started off the last three podcasts. It was really sleepy, really bad mood. And then again...
Well, as I remember it, they were all absolute corkers.
No, they were really good, which was surprising.
Yeah. I'm going to bring my A game, or maybe my A- game, I don't know. We'll see how we go.
Well, but with my game, that'll average it out to about a C. So...
Okay, that'll do.
But no, I'm in a pretty decent mood.
I didn't ask.
I asked myself. I have some corking news, Dan, that I've been... We've been talking about the last 40 minutes prior to this, and it's just been burning up because I just want to get it out.
Okay.
Casting for the new Mortal Kombat movie.
Excuse me?
Say
that again?
The new Mortal Kombat movie, which I assume is a sequel.
It's a sequel,
right? To the last one.
It's got to be.
It must be.
Like, how could it not? Like, they can't just go, well, it was 2 years ago when we did the Mortal Kombat movie, so let's just start again. Like, as far as I'm aware, I'll Rotten Tomatoes it just to be safe, but I thought that was reasonably kind of well received.
I think it was an okay received thing. Don't look too much because I haven't told you the news yet either. I don't want anything. I'm just popping up.
No, 2021. So way too early for a reboot.
So it's got to be a sequel.
Ooh. Critics 54, audience 86.
So what we need to do while we're talking is have a look at the money it made and see at that.
Well, it went to streaming fairly quickly, didn't it?
But was that because of COVID?
Well, it was 2021 it came out in, so I doubt that would have had a huge amount of impact on it. But it's the 30th anniversary of Mortal Kombat at the moment because NetherRealm Studios actually put up a little video yesterday that I watched. And it's like a whole bunch of like all the staff that work at NetherRealm just sort of like, thanks everyone for supporting us for 30 years.
What?
And then at the very, very end, there's about 5 seconds of a teaser for presumably Mortal Kombat 12. And it's not a teaser in the slightest. It's just like sand just falling. And then it just sort of follows a single grain, and then it just ends.
Could be anything.
It could be
Prince
anything.
of Persia.
Imagine that. They said, we're giving up on Mortal Kombat. We've done that for 30 years. Now we're bringing Prince of Persia back, even though I'm assuming that they have
nothing to do with
Prince of Persia
it. I'm pretty sure it's owned by Disney now as well.
Yeah.
Budget of 55 million. Box office 84.4. So depending on how much it was for promotions and stuff, they probably made, I don't know, about between 20 to 30 mil.
I doubt that they made anything off that.
But the guy who played Sub-Zero revealed that he signed on for 4 sequels.
That is ambitious. It's like, do you know what everyone loves at the moment? Video game movies. Everyone loves them.
It is a sequel. It was confirmed on April 17th. And with that news, Johnny Cage, everyone's big fan favourites, sunglasses wearing, actor, ball punching, Johnny Cage.
Well, Johnny Cage was teased in the last one.
He was, but not by this actor. So some...
Is it? I'm going to ask you this, because, again, I don't know this, but I'm going to just...
Bear in mind, this isn't a rumour. This is... This actor is in final talks to play Johnny Cage.
Right.
Go.
Is this someone who's previously played a Johnny Cage?
No.
Oh, wow. That's really annoying. I thought it was going to be Casper Van Dien from Mortal Kombat Legacy, because I thought he was a great Johnny Cage.
Yeah, he's all right. He's married to one of the girls from Battle in the Sun.
Oh, really? No way.
Yeah. And he was in Starship Troopers.
He was great in Starship Troopers. Funnily enough, there's a new FPS Starship Troopers game out at some point this year. Very much getting that. It's like think of it like Aliens Fire Team.
Yeah,
that sort of like
horde of waves and stuff.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know. Is it someone who's got like a very is he sort of someone big in the sort of the martial
very
arts
big,
game?
not in the martial arts game, but very big, well known, huge favourite of the podcast. Not he doesn't like the podcast. We're a big fan.
Kevin Sorbo.
I can't remember the last time we ever spoke positively about Kevin Sorbo.
Didn't say we spoke positively about him.
I said we're big fans.
Oh, we're big
big
fans. Right. Oh.
It's definitely not Kevin Sorbo.
I was going to say Stephen Lang, but I'm assuming he's probably a bit too old.
He's also like 60 odd.
He's 60.
I don't know when this is, just because it's a sequel, it could be set 40 years in the future from the last one.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know, who are we big fans of? I haven't got the list in front of me.
I'll tell you now, he's nowhere near my list for Johnny Cage actors.
Right. Have they just gone, we've got a name,
yeah,
so we'll just cast him?
Yeah. But I will say that this person is perfectly suited to play a completely different Mortal Kombat character.
James Corden. Because I'm assuming that this is like, it's a bait and switch.
No, it's not. It's someone we genuinely like.
Oh, mate, I genuinely don't know then. Is it Henry Cavill?
No, that would have been a better choice. Still not a great choice, but a better choice. It's Mr. Karl Urban.
No.
Now, but I've already had this conversation with she's not there. I've had this conversation with Zoe already, and I said, I think the better suit to play character, followed with, and I bet you Dan agrees. So, can you guess?
Striker?
Oh no, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh, Karl Urban.
Especially Billy Butcher.
Aaron Black?
Especially Billy Butcher, Karl Urban. Can I give you a clue from a previous?
Because I'm trying to think of
a previous Mortal Kombat movie. Hello, baby.
Okay.
Have you missed me?
Oh, yeah. I mean, but you can't because he's
we've already had him, so they can't do it. But
yeah,
I imagine he rocked up to set. To the meeting with sunglasses on, and they went, right, why don't you do Kano? And some guy, we did Kano in the last one. They went, fucking, who else?
Yeah, he died, remember?
Who wears sunglasses? And Johnny Cage went, that's the guy. Him.
He still feels a bit too old to be Johnny Cage.
Yeah,
Johnny Cage feels like he's sort of late 30s,
at the most,
back end of his career.
Yeah, but he's
I mean, I adore Karl.
This is what I mean. He's excellent, but he's better suited to other characters that aren't Johnny Cage.
Him as a martial artist, just sort of like he's got the attitude. I think like he'd be a really good sort of like down on his luck sort of old school action hero. But I just don't see him sort of like with the quick moves.
But the thing with Cage though, like you could cast him as Scorpion because all the martial arts stuff he's got a mask on, so it wouldn't matter. But Johnny Cage doesn't. He puts sunglasses on and that's it. So. For the bulk of the fighting, well, all of the fighting, we know it's not Karl Urban, and there's
or no, it would have to be him, or it would clearly be somebody.
He might
else.
be a martial artist that we just don't know. He's just never.
I don't know, but like I reckon if you got like a Jake Gyllenhaal, like he's just come out of the bloody UFC.
Yeah.
Like you see the size of him. Yeah. Like that's what I imagine like a Johnny Cage is. He's still quite young, but he's just in absolute top form.
I'd even accept Tobey Maguire at this point.
Well, he's like 50 odd, so again, we're pushing the Stephen Lang button at that point.
But I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal's still, he's what, late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah,
maybe?
but I think he's got the bod at the moment, certainly.
But he's also got the face.
Clearly, he's got the chops.
He's
got
a
the face, and
looking
he's got that sort of quippy kind of, sort of charm about him. I think that would work fine. I don't know. I kind of love the fact that Karl Urban's just sort of like all the nerds just love him at the moment. They're like, "Hey, do you want to be in a Mortal Kombat movie?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." you want to pay me for it? Let's go for it.
Maybe that's the route they go down, where he is he's finished and he's not doing it. Shit, no, I'm too old for this shit.
Because I mean, he doesn't exactly do like a huge amount. He does like sort of just general brawling and stuff like that in The Boys, but it's mainly sort of being gruff and calling everyone a cunt, really.
Yeah, the bulk of the Billy Butcher stuff is, other than when he's had the compound V, spoilers for the Boys, But other than when he's had Compound V, most of his fighting is with a gun. Or hiding behind something. Oh, yeah, or holding a laser baby. But there's not a great deal of all-out fisticuffs.
No, but like I say, it's more sort of like just boxing. And
yeah.
You know, it's just being able to give someone a good right hook.
But that's not Johnny Cage.
I mean, yeah, no, he's still a bit more. You know, he does the splits and punches someone in the bollock so hard that they explode. Like, I just can't picture Karl Urban doing it. It could be great. He could just be like, I'm just going to absolutely just have fun with this and just have a grand old time. And it could just absolutely come through. Because, like, it seems like the guy who played Kano, I'm sorry, mate, I can't remember your name. But, man alive, he fucking killed it.
He was good. He was very good.
He was great. Like, he was a proper prick.
As he's meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got the guy playing like Kung Lao and Liu Kang, and they seem very into their character.
Like proper
they seem to, they seem to sort of fit that character within this sort of like weird little world. But other than, I mean, obviously, again, Johnny was sort of teased as a poster, I believe, at the end when Cole leaves the locker room.
Flies down to the floor. It's either at the back of a door and it closes, or
it's on a wall, and the camera sort of pans across. And I watched Mortal Kombat not long ago, to be honest.
I don't think it was
but it's
that
just
bad.
like it's on a wall, and it's just like it's a sort of pecs down, and it's like a big cage belt. But have they announced any other peeps?
Yes, they did, but I'd already closed it because I didn't know if you wanted to know. But
I mean, with Mortal Kombat, I mean, there's like a kind of a fixed roster, really, so I could kind of. Like, that's not going to be a surprise if they go, you'll never guess what Rain's going to be in it. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know Rain. Yeah, of course.
Well, April 17, 2023, Ghana confirmed filming would run from June to September. While the hashtag show reported that Shao Kahn, Baraka, Kitana, Quan Chi, and Sindel were slated to appear.
Interesting. So they haven't gone down the sort of Kotal Khan, Devora, Aaron Black, the Earthquake dude. Like, they haven't gone for like any of the sort of like
ones.
MK 9 and 10 onwards. They're still sort of like dealing with their class. But like Sindel, poorly used in the previous Mortal Kombat films, in my opinion.
But don't forget, they also invented their own character in the form of Scorpion's grandson.
That's true. So, I'm surprised. I bet that when MK12 comes out, Cole will 100%
of course he will.
be.
Yeah.
He won't be a main roster, I don't think, but he'll be a DLC character for sure. If they can get the Turtles, for fuck's sake, they can get someone else that they created specifically for the franchise.
Yeah, they'll be able to put him in a piece of piss. But I still stand by. We talked about it on the podcast many, many moons ago when the film came out. This would have been a better film if they had just done the Scorpion's Revenge animated movie. Because like the beginning of the last Mortal Kombat film's excellent.
Yeah,
and then it goes downhill from there for me.
But they always just focus on Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and then they've just sort of switched it around a bit. So now Sub-Zero's the bad guy, and Scorpion's kind of not really a good guy, but certainly a better guy than the other.
Spoilers for all Mortal Kombat lore.
But I don't know, just sort of like it's just like, okay, well, you know, Sub-Zero, I can't remember if he gets killed. I think he gets roasted, doesn't he? If Skull flames him. So Scorpion's still around, clearly, but you could have the whole, you know, oh, this is Sub-Zero's brother. Yeah. That's
what's interesting, because they've got Quan Chi slated for this other one, but if Sub-Zero's dead...
But that's the thing, where if they go, oh, well, actually, it was Quan Chi the whole time. Because, like, wasn't that in, like, MK 3 or 4 or something like that, where it turned out that Scorpion hated Sub-Zero because of him going around and killing his family, and it turns out it was actually Quan Chi disguised as Sub-Zero who killed his family.
But wasn't it? It was revealed in one of the shitty spin-off-y games, like Mortal Kombat Legends or something like that. Like there wasn't a traditional, like, you know, the wanky RPG games.
I don't know. I think it was no. Because there's been like the Kung Lao Liu Kang thing. There was the like one where you have your own character, sort of like running around the different realms. That was great. I love that. But I think it was. I could be wrong. I'll be honest. But if memory serves, I think it was within like a normal numbered.
I honestly can't remember. That's what happened. It's Quan Chi as the Luin Kuei?
Lin Kuei.
Clan?
Lin Kuei.
Yeah. And obviously it wasn't Sub-Zero. But I still think that that's because they've just gone, everyone loves Sub-Zero and everybody loves Scorpion. So,
potentially, but I'm kind of like I'm glad that they're still sticking with their sort of like original few roster characters. So they've still got Baraka, they've still got Sindel. Did you say Melina was in there, or was it just Katana?
Just said Katana. No, doesn't say that.
Okay,
Melina
so potentially
isn't.
we could get the birth of Melina, because like with Baraka and Sindel as well. But I like the fact that they haven't just gone, okay, well, here's your Sub-Zero, here's your Scorpion, here's your Goro. Okay, right, here's Kotal Khan, here's Shinnok, here's, just whatever we're doing at the moment, let's just push all of them up front. They're going, no, we're sticking with original Gen 1 characters.
And I would like to see some of the
Reptile.
ones from 10.
There's Jade.
Rain.
No, Rain was added a bit after, I think, wasn't he?
I'm
pretty sure Jade was...
I'm pretty sure Rain's in 3.
Because I think Jade was like a secret character, I think, in 1 or 2. Because I remember fighting... It might have been Jade, it might have been somebody else. But there was like, if you did like... Oh, I think it was like if you worked your way up the challenge tower and you beat everyone with only kicks, like at some point, you got a secret character. I think it was Jade, but again, you know what my memory's like, Callum. It cannot be trusted. So it could have been anybody else, I don't know.
I do love that over the many years of Mortal Kombat, this is a franchise that managed to have... So you had Scorpion and Sub-Zero, which were just colour palette swap characters.
It's your Ken and Ryu.
And then, but they also went,
well,
we can do a green one as well. We can do a purple one. We can do a red one.
Do one in
I was going to say, do one that's just a silhouette. It's like Noob Saibot. What was the thinking behind Noob Saibot? Did it spell something backwards?
Oh, it was like one of the creators.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
So it's like Ed Boon, and it's Noob, and then it's like the other creator. I can't remember his name now, but the other guy is like his surname backwards.
I can't be asked to work it out in my head, but
but they haven't just because they're like presumably it's going to be like prosthetics work and stuff like that on Baraka, but like they had like a full reptile like CG character. They had the sort of flying vampire woman. Potentially, I think that might be a character that they've just made up for it. The one that comes out and kills,
that flies up and takes up.
I thought initially I was like, oh, it's Devora. That's cool. But she was just killed immediately.
Definitely wasn't Devora. Definitely wasn't. She's a cool character.
Yeah, she is.
I like most of the roster because it's 10, isn't it? The first time you see Devora. Sure it is.
Yeah, because I played 9 quite a lot. I think it was. Yeah, because then that was like you got Aaron Black, Devora,
the blind guy,
Ermac. Not Ermac. Fucking Kenshi.
Yeah.
Kenshi's been in it for ages, hasn't he?
I'm sure he was. It's 9 or 10. He's debuted. Pretty sure it's 10. I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh right. I honestly could have sworn because I fucking love Kenshi.
I could be wrong. But I like the other guy who's basically Scorpion. The one who's got like the big, long, weird metal whip thing.
Metal whip.
Yeah, it works in the same way that Scorpion's shoots out the thing, but he shoots them back both arms, kind of like Omega Red. Takeda.
Yeah, he's the new Scorpion.
He's the son of Kenshi. I'm sure he is.
But isn't he in the?
Yeah,
isn't he in like Scorpion's clan?
Son of Kenshi. Yeah, he's in the clan.
Yeah.
He took the former Scorpion to be instructed in martial arts. Blah 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 blah.
Fucking hell! So they made up a new character instead of using him. Why?
Yeah, 100%. Because he's cool as well. I like his suit as well.
He's got a little ponytail, hasn't he?
Yeah, but let's say I call them whips. They're not whips, but they're like Omega Red's tendrils, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Right.
So they can come back. He's cool. I like him. But do him instead of. He's fine until he gets his powers, and it's a bit Power Ranger-y.
Well, he just gets a suit.
Yeah, but it's just like grows over him.
I'd like it if it was sort of like a nanotech suit or something. So you could just turn it into armor, or you could turn it into a weapon. So you could have like a big gold axe, or a big gold sword, or a big
That's a bit
shield.
Overpowered, isn't it?
No, but that's what I mean. Like you could have it as an offensive thing or a defensive thing. So you can cover yourself in it, but then you just got your fists, or take it all off and you can get a big axe.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that. Yeah.
You know, like with the stance switching thing in like some of the newer ones, something like that.
That was revolutionary, wasn't it? You could fight as Scorpion, and then you change your stance and you get a sword. You go cool.
Yeah, but I don't know, because like part of me is just sort of like, I like the fact that they're just sticking with the sort of the silliness of the originals, but then maybe I think there's going to be some bleed through. I think there'll be like a cool character from like some of the new ones, maybe. Like, who's a fan favorite? The Terminator. Get him in it.
I don't think they're going to.
Get Terminator and Rambo, and it's the crossover that we've all been waiting for.
The last one maybe made after everything else, maybe made around 15 million. Don't think we're getting the Terminator, mate.
But what if that's how they wrote the licensing? It's like, oh, we want to license these characters out, so we'll have RoboCop, and we'll have Predator, and we'll have Alien, and blah 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 blah. Well, Xenomorph. But like in that contract terms, like, and if we decide to use these characters in any kind of Mortal Kombat live action thing, you give the right to do that as well, and then we could have that absolute insane cross. You could have the Turtles and a Xenomorph and Predator and RoboCop and Terminator and Rambo and just trying to beat the shit out of each other in a giant ring. It'd be great.
The MKPC universe, Mortal Kombat pop culture universe.
Yeah, I'd be alright with that.
Add a C somewhere as well for cinematic. But
yeah,
it's going to end up spelling
MODOK
or something.
Yeah, I like Mortal Kombat. It's a good
fun
Mortal Kombat. So
it's a good fun.
Another film. I'll be honest. I'm absolutely completely taken aback that they've greenlit a sequel. Another reboot, depending on how like other sort of video gamey kind of properties, like after the Last of Us and things like that. The money men will be like, oh, these video games, we'll make a bunch of money off these.
Again, they're not focusing on the ones that have got a good deep story. I mean, like we were talking yesterday, they're doing a Twisted Metal TV show.
I forgot about that.
Tits?
I couldn't believe it. As soon as I saw the trailer for that, I was just like, what?
They're wrong.
Like, what?
I think it could be fun, and there's a lot of big names like Anthony Mackie, Will Arnett. Like, there's a lot of big names in it, so
it could be absolutely mental because they've just gone. There's like a minimal story,
maybe
so we can just sort of make it a giant comedy. You know, that could be fine. But it's just because then it's just like, do they just go right? What's got no story that we could just create one around?
And they made a Tetris film.
I know, but that's not about Tetris though, is it? But if they did, like it was the. Like, if if the fucking DreamWorks or someone got their hands on it, they'd, it'd be like the Tetramino movie, and it's all the little Tetrises all sort of going around.
The blue one.
But it's just like, oh, we've got a perfect city, but don't let those lines in, because if the lines come in, the whole city will get deleted or whatever, and it's just...
I'm not even shitting you,
bullshit
Dan.
Around that.
That could genuinely be quite a fun film.
No, fuck it. Just some sort of like weird discriminatory parallel. They're just like, oh well, actually we need everyone to get along to blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, well,
and then they do let everyone in, and then shit starts fucking disappearing.
Yeah, I don't think you can make many films based on Russia or about Russian properties at this point. Great music though.
Did you ever set the rocket up?
It'd be like making a Marble Madness film.
Marble Madness.
It was like, it's like the marbles have got to get to. Oh, shut up! Like, you either do the story and you just do the exact story
this summer,
or
it's just someone flicking a marble.
Yeah, or pinball or something.
You could probably make a pinball film, but again, not necessarily about that. Just like the world's first pinball machine, you could probably do something with that, but
maybe. But that means more documentary rather than like what crazy antics went behind the scenes of making a pinball machine. It's not that much, I imagine. You get the Who in it, though, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. But no, I mean it could be Twisted Metal is a genuinely excellent show, and maybe it is a good thing that there can't really be anything for people to get upset over as long as it features
the 162 people who still remember actually playing and remember all the details of Twisted Metal.
Like, I mean, I can remember one character, that's Sweet Tooth. That's the only character I can remember.
Isn't that the dude in the ice cream van?
I can't remember what vehicle he drove. He was like the weird clowny guy. But as long as there's cars that are like Mad Max styled up and people get killed, that's the game. And
If it's like hyper violent and funny,
I can see it being the boys-esque violent. That's what I foresee. But the synopsis was like a delivery driver making his way through like the post-apocalyptic city, being chased by like the.
So he's like an Amazon
stuff. Effectively, yeah.
Or like a really weird modern version of the Postman.
But I would imagine it's more that like it's not like next day delivery esque stuff. It's just dropping supplies to people. But then like being chased down by mud and stuff, which would be where the cars and stuff come in, which could work. It could be funny, or it could be a bag of tits.
It just makes me worry that when they just sort of go, we've got a thing. It's probably because it's sort of like it's any company that's got a license to go right. Someone write a script about a thing that we make, because then if they go, oh, the Twisted Metal show, that was great. Now we can make a Twisted Metal game, the remake that everyone has been after. All those 162 people.
Where have you got that number from?
I know.
But it's also, so you've got like Amazon are making The Boys, they're making Invincible, plus lots of other very well received TV shows. Netflix making your Stranger Things, and they're making again your Sweet Tooths and all this kind of stuff. You got Disney Plus with all the Star Wars and Marvel stuff and everything else you can shake a stick at. And then Peacock come along and make Twisted Metal. So also, we managed to find out in a day and see like a teaser trailer for Twisted Metal. Yet we still have nothing for Fallout.
Isn't it out this year?
I believe so.
For fuck's sake.
We haven't even got. We've got like on-set images, like real wank images, and that's it.
Yeah, there's like all I've really seen is like you say, stills, artwork, and then like a video of. I don't think it was Todd Howard, but it was like.
I think it is Todd Howard.
Presumably. I can't remember who it is. It was like just the director of the show, maybe, who's handed a Nuka-Cola by someone in Brotherhood of Steel armor. And I was like, oh, that's a great little teaser. A couple of months, we'll have a proper nothing.
That was like 2 years ago.
Unbelievable.
But that could be a good thing.
But that's the one thing. It's just like, right, okay, this is one where you don't have to like. It's one that you don't have to follow a specific game character's
set it in the universe
story. Like, you've just got the universe. You just go, right, we've done all these different cities. This one is in this city. Bang. All the product stuff's going to be the same. All your Easter eggs are all going to be the same. Like, you could have, like, references to, like, oh, this guy from Vault 101 or whatever. They can come across a vault. Like, you know, like, one that you would have been into. And you can see it in, like, its heyday. Like, the potential there is crazy. And I fucking love Fallout as well. Like, I know how good that universe is. But all I can think is, oh my god, how are they going to fuck this up?
But I haven't watched it. You've got Lord of the Rings show, I believe has been very well received. The Boys. Oh god, what was the Hunters? The Hunters? Yeah, that was pretty good. The Tick, I really enjoyed The Tick. I know it got cancelled, but I did enjoy it. Invincible is fucking outstanding. Loads of other things. The Jack Ryan, Reacher. They do make some genuinely good. Preacher. They make some excellent shows. So, I have faith that Amazon can pull it off.
I hope so, because that, like, to me, that's the gateway one. To be like, if you can pull a big franchise like that, then sure, have a crack at Skyrim. You know, your Mass Effect, try all
the
of
Mass
that,
Effect
now that you know what you're
Skyrim.
doing.
Skyrim's a bit too
again, I think,
isn't it?
But Mass Effect is because it's either it's Shepard and it's Shepard's story,
I don't want to do Shepard.
But exactly. But then what's the point?
No, keep it in the same universe. So this is the
N6.
N6.
I don't care about anybody else other than Shepard.
Yeah, but the whole point of Mass Effect is it's your story. It's not. Obviously, everyone has the same fucking ending. But the stuff in between is all your choices. And if you're watching it... Unless they do it as like choose your own adventure. So you choose your choices.
Like Bandersnatch.
Yeah, I'd be down for that, to be
work.
fair. Mass Effect, one of them.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how much the budget would have to be for that.
filming multiple, like, because again, you look at all the bloody aliens and stuff like that. Like, I don't think you could do like Solarians and Krogan prosthetically. I'd like to see like I'll tell you what would be good actually, because I know it's a game that I don't know if we played it. Maybe we have. But you know, Viscera Cleanup.
Yes.
I would love that as a concept for like some 20-minute shows or whatever, and it's the same cleanup crew having to clean up after different games, video game character. Like, because presumably for most of these, you just have to sort of get in touch with the studio and just be like, oh, we're making this, and we want to just sort of like have
like a cheeky nod.
After a Master Chief has gone in and just blasted a bunch of Covenant apart, do you want to just like, you don't have to have Master Chief in it. No one will say Halo, but there'll be like a grunt and an elite and whatever, and it's just a couple of guys just sweeping it up. And most of them, I think they just sort of like have the mindset, they're just like, that sounds quite funny actually, yeah, go for it. Yeah. Whereas if you go, we want it like after a James Bond, they'd be like, oh, let's get our 65 lawyers in here.
Effectively, like you do it like how I imagine they plugged Lower Decks. Do you know what I mean? So it's like this is after all the other big, like the cool adventures are going off elsewhere, and then it's just these fucking losers left behind, and it'd be that's how you'd sell it, and it's just like these nobodies coming in to clean up after the heroes or the villains or whatever have been and left just a fucking god awful mess. Like, I'd watch it. I'll be honest. I think it'd be quite a fun show.
But that's something where it's the idea behind it. There's no story that needs to be there.
I mean, theoretically, you could actually do that as a machinima. So you just play the game, and then you and your buddy are talking, and you just edit into. That's something that we could potentially do, Dan. That could be a good little series of shorts.
Yeah,
I'm gonna cut all that out so no one steals it. All 165 people, 60 metal fans. But no, I think that'd be quite fun. I'd watch that. What I was going to ask is, who would you, if it was just going to follow Mass Effect, the TV show, if there ever is one, who would you have play Shepard? Just assuming it's just going to be, here's the story of Commander Shepard from Mass Effect 1 all the way through.
I don't know, because like part of me thinks that maybe do you know what I'd actually want, which would be really awful, it would be terrible. I'd want a different person to play him every scene.
Every scene?
Well,
that's
scene.
Never gonna happen.
So like that would be incredible. So you don't have to have any named actors or whatever, but you could just have like normal sort of bog standard, someone who kind of looks Shepardish, and then next scene it's a woman. The next scene is a black guy. Like, that would be unbelievable, because it's like, oh, he looks like my character. Like, all you got to do is just watch, and eventually someone who looks like your Shepard will pop up.
But they'd never finish making it.
It would be incredible. Like, but you just get just a bunch of randos. You don't have to get like fucking Bradley Cooper and then Owen Wilson or whatever. You just get a bunch of randos give them 50 quid.
A sense of time.
And then
not how much it's going to cost to get people in or not. It's just that would take fucking millions of hours to finish a season.
Yeah, but you need 500 different costumes with all different potential variations and colours and skins and stuff.
And someone got helmets on.
Yeah, and then they've all got various different weapons with them as well.
What about the romance aspect?
It again changes scene to scene. So it'll be a guy Shepard, and it'll be with Ashley, say, and then just as he's leaning in to kiss, the camera changes, and it's Garrus kissing Talia or something like that. But it'd be great. It'd be fucking mental. I love it.
Never happened in a million years.
Worst rated show ever.
What happened? I don't know.
I was too distracted by the changing people constantly. Honestly, I don't know, because I think it would be better for an unknown, I'd say, because it just feels like if you put someone too big in, it automatically distracts.
I can't think of anyone visually and just characteristically. I can't think of anyone.
But that's the point, though. Like, Shepard's supposed to be just sort of like a mannequin.
Yeah, it's you.
It's an avatar. That's what it's supposed to be, rather than someone who's made in a specific way or whatever.
I think if they ever do, I don't think they'll do the Shepherd route. I think it'll be...
If they do, it'll be terrible because they can't put 150 hours worth of story into the Shepherd saga.
Nah.
But, you could have Liara show up. You could have, because I can't imagine, the Asari kind of prosthetics, like they do it in Star Trek all the time, man. Like, crazy shit on all over people's faces and heads and stuff. That wouldn't be too difficult. Like, a Solarian would be a bit tricky with, the big sort of wobbly head. And, a Krogan, I just don't think... Either it would just be like a stiff animatronic that just has to stand still in place all the time, or it'd be a completely CG character. I mean, I've seen cosplayers who have done decent Garruses. I reckon you could prosthetics, like a suit, and then CGI manipulation for the face. I reckon get the mouth, the flappy mouth working properly. I'd say that'd be absolutely fine.
They're the type of they're the only ones you'd really need popping in like those kind of characters.
And Jack, just. Yeah, for sure.
Because they're all big, well-known A-star characters, but they're not the main character of the story. So you've got Commander... What have I got lying around it? Commander Remote, who's the new star of the show. And then periodically you'll have the people who you actually know popping in. And
I would like... Do you know what I would actually like to see? Rather than, again, take out the Reapers and all that out of it, but maybe like Saren... just have the Saren show.
The Saren
and it's
show.
Just like him. But it's him as a Spectre going around being a cool Spectre dude, and then you sort of again that sort of Anakin way. You kind of see him sort of fall, and then it ends with the start of Mass Effect where he's being corrupted or whatever.
Yeah, that'd work.
Because you know who he is, and you wouldn't have, but then you wouldn't be able to have all of your other characters because it would have been before. But you could have Anderson, he'd be in it.
Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, that's the one.
I want a Garrus series, but where he's Archangel.
Yeah, that'd
I'd
be
quite
fun.
like to see that. Or
yeah,
just following that report around for 2 seasons. Just building up to that eventual slap.
Yeah, that'd be great. Because then you could just go, right, we need a famous, someone real famous to put the N7 armor on and just clock her in the face. And we'll pay him 50 grand, and that's all he's got to do. Just pow!
Take his helmet off. And it's the Irish guy from fucking American Gods.
He's doing all of them. Anyone with a helmet. We'll do a Metroid movie, it's him. Isn't that a woman?
No, it's him. His name's Sam.
The name's Sam Saran. Call me Sam.
That'd be cool, though. Metroid franchise.
Maybe, yeah. Metroid, a Half-Life show, I reckon, would be...
Oh, Half-Life would be interesting.
I think, again, that's one that's, universe-wise, that's, it's really interesting. I reckon you could do, a Love, Death and Robots kind of, animated Portal.
Portal would be excellent.
Sort of
just really random offshoot adventures, between 10 and 15-minute long episodes or something like that. That'd be interesting. But would you be happy if Half-Life 3 was a TV show / or movie?
No, I'd rather it be a game. If I'm honest, Half-Life 2 is because as I'm sure I probably would have mentioned this on a podcast a couple of years ago. I never played Half-Life, any of them, until Steam a couple of years ago. Potentially it was through the pandemic, actually, to keep people busy. They said, here's Half-Life 1, here's Black Mesa, here's Half-Life 2, and I just rinsed them all. It was like for a weekend or something like that, and I just ploughed through all of them.
Did you get Blue Shift as well?
Essentially, was that the remake of Black Mesa?
No, it was nowadays it'd be DLC, but it had Half-Life, and then Blue Shift came out.
I don't think so. Then. No, I'm pretty. To be fair, again, Half-Life 1 was just sort of this just looks like every fucking PC game that I played in the 90s. But Half-Life 2 was just how the hell did they go from that to this? This is incredible.
Oh, fun fact! 2 fun facts. Blue Shift was the first game I legally bought with my own hard-earned money.
Yeah.
And our very first podcast, I tell you to play Half-Life.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it only took me 10 years to get there, and it was given to me for free. But yeah, eventually,
I loved
we
it.
got there.
I was lucky though because I played the first Half-Life at my friend's house, and I fucking loved it. And then I borrowed it off him, played it on my PC. Bought Blue Shift many years later, well, whenever it came out. And then Half-Life 2, my auntie owned a cybercafe, so I used to go and play for free for a few hours.
Yeah.
And it was like LAN, Half-Life 2. I was like, this is the best thing I've ever played in my fucking life.
Yeah.
So I've got good memories of it anyway, but the only Half-Life game I've never owned was, it's not technically a Half-Life game, but the Orange Box, which was on...
Wasn't that the Xbox?
It was on PlayStation 3. It may have come out on Xbox later, but I know it was exclusive because they had a Sony and Valve had a deal, and there was going to be some cross-platform stuff with Steam, but it didn't happen in the end. But yeah, you got Half-Life 1 and 2.
Not for 10 years.
Half-Life 1, 2, I assume Blue Shift, and then Portal 1 and 2 as well.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent kind of
for like
content.
60 quid or whatever it would have been.
I mean, to be fair, I still haven't played Portal, to be honest.
Ever.
No,
so
never.
fucking good. Stephen Merchant.
That's
excellent.
I didn't know.
I think he's in the. I'm not sure if he's in. Can't remember if he's in the first one. He's in the second one.
Right. Okay. I played the Portal desk game. It's like I think it was a launch title for the Steam Deck. I think it was like Desk Job or something like that. That's quite good. But it's like a Red Faction.
You know what? That would be a good TV show, like Colonies on Mars, Awesome Guns,
Uprising, all that sort of stuff. Giant robots, maybe every now and then.
I'd be down for that.
Red Faction would work quite well.
Carmageddon, no. Worms. I'd actually quite like a Worms.
Do you know what? I'd like, sort of like, like Cuphead, like that sort of like it's its own animation. It's just like, I think Worms just sort of like, like a squad of worms that are going through boot camp, and then like in an actual boot, and then like they have to come out and they join the war, and it's just, I think that would work like just as a silly sort of like, get Will Arnett in, he'll voice anything. Fucking Seth Rogen, get him in as well. Like just like a team of comedy worms that are just doing funny worm stuff.
Are Team 17 still the owners of Worms?
I'm pretty sure
they've been bought by someone else.
I think Team 17 still exists, but I do think they are probably owned by somebody else.
Because that could potentially be a really funny show.
Because I think I played something not long ago that had the Team 17 publisher logo on it. I'm
Team
to just
Buddies.
jog my memory.
Do you have a TV show with that?
Do you know what? I'd have it.
No.
Worms, blah blah blah. Dredge. That's Team 17.
Dredge.
Overcooked.
Really, they made Overcooked. I did not know that. Very
games.
fun game.
King of the Castle, Worms, Killer Frequency. I don't know what that is. Summon Quest. These just look sort of that Dredge.
Dredge.
I can't remember if it came to Game Pass or not, but it's certainly on Steam. It's been plugged quite a bit on Steam.
Is it new?
Yeah, fairly new.
Yeah. I can't say if I
Moving Out, that's Team 17. Autopsy Simulator.
I'm in. That'd make a great game, TV show.
Oh my god! Oh god, Callum, this looks. Hold on.
Does this sound like something we can play?
Dude, this looks ace. Oh, it's like a horror game.
Yeah, let's play it.
No. If it was like there's like bugs on someone's arm. No.
Moving Out was all right. Like the animal.
Yeah, that was quite good, wasn't it?
I quite like that.
Rogue Heroes, Legend of Bumbo, Hell Let Loose. That fucking game that I play all the time. That's Team 17. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah. Because like as soon as I was loading it up, and it's like the Team 17 is like bullets and stuff that come like cycle through it, and I was like, really?
Wow.
So they've made
The more you
Worms,
know.
which is great, and then Hell Let Loose, which is just an outstanding little. Oh, that Neon Abyss, they made that as well. No way. Yeah, they're still bloody going strong, mate.
And not owned by anyone else.
It doesn't actually say on their website, I don't think.
It'll be like the bottom, like trademark of blah blah.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter because they're not making a worm show, but like, I think it would be like you say, stylize it in its own way, i.e. Cuphead, that kind of shit. Just have a again, not very long episodes, just enough to tell a portion of a story in a humorous way. I'd watch that. I'd play it as well. Or they make it super serious and go proper like Saving Private Ryan. It's all worms.
Yeah.
I did watch Corridor Crew was talking about John Wick, the new one, and they were saying
I haven't seen it.
No. It's not spoilers for John Wick. But they were saying like even if Keanu left the franchise, that it would still be a strong franchise, and the other guy's just like, no, he's John Wick. So they did a challenge where they replaced John Wick with Steven Seagal, and it was called John Thick. But 90% of the fight scenes are him sat down, and it was so good. But I'd like to do something like that where they take like a well-known, similar to how Conker did the parodies of like the Matrix, Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Like, but like worms like that, where they take something,
like famous battle scenes.
And just recreate them, but with worms.
Yeah, that could be quite good. Or like, to be fair, if you did like a serious thing though, it could be like there's two teams of worms both trying to kill each other, so like in their trenches or whatever, and it's like, oh, these guys are the enemy because blah blah blah, and he goes, well, these guys are the enemy because it's exactly the same reason, which means that the whole thing was futile in the first place.
Pointless.
Yeah.
That'd be fun though. I used to love playing worms.
Worms is great. I mean, the fact that I can't believe they made Hell Let Loose. I'd totally forgotten about that. But that's such a serious, in-depth like battle simulator kind of thing. It's so far removed from like the sort of wacky, silly worms nonsense.
Well, that's quite a number of. I mean, look at Rare. Rare made GoldenEye, and then they made Banjo-Kazooie. I know Hell Let Loose and GoldenEye are vastly different shooters
in terms of quality. Yes,
but like GoldenEye was at the time. I mean, it was a revolutionary console first-person shooter, and then Banjo was to bear with a fucking bird in his bag.
Great adventure game.
Yeah, it's excellent. I love Banjo-Kazooie. But yeah, quite a lot of developers do wildly different genres of games, but I can't think of anyone that's done something like Worms and then something like Hell Let Loose.
Yeah, and they're still doing Worm stuff as well. That's it. I think it said I might have read it wrong, but I think it said that they got like 110 games in their portfolio, which is pretty good going.
Probably 92 of them are Worms.
But well done, Team 17. Yeah. Still crushing it, and British company. So well done to you, lads.
Did you know there was a Worms version on teletext?
Actual Worms or just a rip-off?
Actual Worms made by Team 17. And it was that...
Also... I'll stop you there because...
I'm going to explain what teletext is.
Thank you. Okay, yep.
So, teletext was I assume, just a British thing. I'm not aware of it being in any other countries.
I imagine that there was some version of it, probably called something else, but I imagine it was across the board, yeah.
You can look at any universal remote control from the last X amount of years, and it will have a red, a yellow, a blue, and a green button on it that will do some function or nothing at all in some cases. But what teletext was basically the internet for certain things. So you could see sport news, you could see news, you could see gaming news on like ByteZine or something, whatever the fuck it was called. And Bamboozle was an interactive quiz game, but you did it all through your TV and it updated daily. And then there was a version of Worms made for that was that advanced. Bear in mind, this is teletext, so it's just coloured pictures and writing.
Think of it like a browser game, but through your TV. So your TV would not be connected to the internet. This is just something that was... I don't know quite how they do it. Like, presumably it's sort of just like it's been...
I'd assume it were like a channel.
That's what I mean. It's like sort of like under a normal channel sort of thing, like a sub channel.
Yeah. But the version of Worms was that advanced that the second you launched it just crashed everything completely. But there's actual footage of it about.
No way. I'll have to have a look at that. I didn't know that. I didn't know
article. That was real. I can't remember if it's an interview with the guys that managed to get it working or just people talking about it. But yeah. But like the original Worms, so it's just like the pink lines, like the really really super old version. That's what it is.
Yeah, because I had it for the Amiga, which I think because it was the first Worms. Worms first Worms. That's what it said on the box.
This Worms first Worms. Yeah. 6 stars. My first Worms game I ever played was Worms 2, and I fucking loved it, and it was banging. And then my uncle built me like my first PC, but he put loads of games on. That many years down the line, I realised now he just put an emulator on the PC because it was all like from Amiga up to like Mega Drive kind of stuff. But there was Worms on there. I was like, oh, Worms, excellent. Put it on and it's just like pink lines. I'm like, fuck is this?
Like original classic Worms. There was like a code book and stuff like that. And like you could create your own levels. So it was like a level seed. So you could just go blah, 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 press enter and it would just generate a level that would be completely unique.
Could you type literally anything? Just mash the keys.
Yeah, that's literally what I used to do. Yeah, because you could just create because obviously it would just be like you change this bit to this bit, and then it would just change this color to this and do. So, but it was
that's cool.
Yeah, but like for an Amiga, and it was like a game that wasn't just like just on a floppy disk that someone's just burnt from their computer. This was like an actual proper in a gigantic fucking box that had a floppy disk that was this big. I had to explain the other day to my 2 apprentices who are both 19 what a floppy disk is because they thought on a Word document and on like or any Office
just
document
save.
The save icon, which is a floppy disk, they thought it was a camera like Instagram, because it's like a box with like a circle in the middle of it. And I was like, oh no, it's a floppy disk. And they were like, a what? And I was just like, oh, okay, lesson time. It's like, do you know what a pager is? I want to test them on everything. Like, do you know what a cassette is?
Ask them. You know what you need to get? I'm sure you can get one off eBay or something. You need to get one of the balls out of a mouse.
Where does this come? Like, because it's so specific in weight and texture. It's like there's nothing else that feels or looks like a mouse ball. Yeah, I reckon you're probably right. They may very well have never used a mouse that wasn't optical.
They wouldn't have, not in 19. Unless they just had really old tech when they were young.
Maybe.
But the odds are they'll go...
If you don't know what a floppy disk is, you don't know what a ball for a mouse is. Absolutely not. No, you're probably right. That's good on that. I like that.
Oh, God, I can't remember what it's called. Mini disc?
I like
mini disc player.
I thought mini discs were like really cool and futuristic because they sort of like clicked into the mini disc player. I really like them. Really like them. Our
friend Jaro had a CD player that you could put blank mini discs in and record stuff off that. And I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Fuck, that is, yeah.
It was quite expensive. Like at the time, it was like ridiculous, like real expensive. Like you're talking like a few £100 for this CD player. But again, if you've got a mini disc player, it pays for its fucking self.
Yeah, it's like getting a CD rewriter.
Effectively, yeah, but way better because the sound quality was better than CD. It was fucking way cooler. It just happened to be at the wrong time because not even 4 years later, something like that, it was like, here's an MP3.
Yeah.
So small, it's invisible.
Polyphonic ringtones to your phone.
I used to hate them where you'd print off the buttons that you needed to press to do your own ringtones for your phone. For like the Nokia 3210s and 3310. And it'd be like, so you need to press 1144 0*324, and you do all of that. And it's like 48 lines long. You're like, The Simpsons, and then you press play. It's like, you're like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
Used to love doing that. But yeah, like you say, then polyphonic ringtones came out. You're like, oh, it sounds like a real guitar.
Yeah, even though if you listen to it now, it's like the tinniest bullshit you've ever heard in your life.
It's bad enough now, like when you're just going through the ones that are built into your phone. So
Yeah.
like
You're like, oh, that isn't crystal clear quantum HD quality.
delete that and put the Mandalorian on it.
Yeah. This thing I ripped from my computer.
Which is my ringtone, to be honest. But yeah, it is mad when you think about stuff like that. That there'll be get an abacus. Fuck it, go all out.
No, I think that's thousands of years old. I think that everyone at some point will know what that is.
I guarantee they'll go. This is one of them things you play with in the doctors.
That's a good point. I want to take him to not an antique shop but like I was gonna say that place fucking hell, I forgot what it's called now. There's a place in Manchester, Affleck's Palace, and it's just like it's all like sort of like goth and emo stuff.
Yeah.
It's like floors and floors, and it's all kind of like it's just like it's like piercing stuff. It's like an alternative shopping centre, basically. Right. It's great. You'd love it. Trust me, you'd love it. It's great in there. I get my incense from there, like because there's all like witchcrafty stuff and that kind of stuff. But in there, as there are many places, there's like a specific like old school like retro gaming. So they sell like NES games and consoles and that kind of stuff. I want to find a place like that, like the Museum of Technology.
That's got to exist.
For sure it does. But I want to take him to a place like that and just be like, that's a fax machine. Like I had to explain to them what a fax machine is. Because again, I was deleting the fax numbers off everyone. So I sent an email saying, we don't use fax, take off your signatures. And I obviously messaged both of them and said, oh, don't forget to take this off your email signatures. And one of them was like, what is a fax? And I was like, oh, here we go.
The thing with fax, though, like,
I love the fax machine.
Realistically, but like, in all honesty, I bet you never used a fax machine until like a certain job. So like, not many people had a fax machine at home or anything like that.
No, we did, but that's the thing, we did. So we had it was a phone that was a fax machine and a scanner as well. So it was like a combo thing. It wasn't like a proper scanner like you'd imagine, like an actual scanner. It's it was a bar that came off on a wire, and you'd sort of like scan it along the page.
Over the paper.
Yeah, but if you're too fast, it would all get squiffed up. It was not advanced technology, but it was like a cool combo kind of deal because it was like the phone and whatever.
What if you accidentally picked up the scanner and held it to you instead of the phone?
Brain cancer? Not much you can do about it, really. It's old tech.
I don't think I know anyone other than you now that had a fax machine as a child.
But the thing is, though, the ironic thing probably is that presumably, I honestly can't remember, we didn't know anyone that had a fax machine.
So you never used it?
No. I mean, but I think it was like official documents and stuff like that. So like, or something for the doctors, you could just fax it over to them. But like the concept of it is it's just a text message, but analog.
Yeah,
it's analog as fuck. It's just you write a thing and then you put it into a thing, and then you do the same out the other side. It's cool. But it's like a wormhole.
You could send a fax via email.
I think you still can. Like most people have got if they've got fax options, because some people do still use fax.
Yeah.
But it faxes to a digital, so it'd like convert it into a PDF or whatever. But like just the physical nature of it was great. And like those like old printers that we had at school, Dad. Yeah, all of that.
My first printer I had at home was probably like this big. It was fucking huge, and it took like 9 days to print it. I remember me and my sister had a competition to see who could make the best magazine. So I made it was a big headlines article for Mario 64 coming out, which I think was called Ultra Mario at the time. And I did a big story, I did a big scoop, did some artwork and stuff for it, printed it out. And then we got so many pages into printing out, and I'm like, nah, it's taking too long. So we just cancelled it.
Because it wasn't like printed on like A4 either. It was just sort of like weird squares of paper.
Yeah, it was the stuff that you'd rip it out, and you're like, it was ace. It was cool. I'd never had a printer prior to that. But
I don't understand how any business could operate at speed with shit like that, with no internet, and that was your printer.
But that'd be the thing, though, because you were just reliant on that. There wouldn't have been a time per se. Whereas nowadays, you're waiting for Bob to print it out. I'll just do it my fucking self. I'll go online, I'll find the stuff I asked him to do, and I'll just fucking print it, and you just do it.
Yeah.
But back then, you had to wait. You didn't have a choice. Logo. Show him a screenshot of Logo. Do you remember Logo, the little turtle? And you type coordinates in, and he'd leave a trail, and you could draw a picture based on what you typed in.
No.
It was basically like you know Fallout.
Yeah.
This is kind of connected.
Okay.
You know the black and green of the Pit-Boy screen.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Right. Okay.
Because that's the style of monitor that was my first ever home computer that my mum got. Was all of the monitor was black and green, but if you flipped like a panel at the back, it was a black and white telly. To the point of it had a dial. You had to if you what channel you're on, you had to tune in. Even if you left it on that channel, it didn't stay on it. You had to change it again once you'd put it back on. But I always wondered, to this day I still wonder, well, why wasn't the TV black and green? Because it was like OLED black.
Yeah.
But the black and white telly was like dark grey and white.
That's weird. I don't know.
And then I still don't know. I'm assuming there was a panel resistor or something. That's what as a guess now. But for years, that kept me awake at night.
How does it work? Why are the colours different?
Yeah, it's just like, because when she said it's also a TV as well, I was like, oh, I'll be interested to see. Oh, it's just black and white.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you showed anyone something like that, there's no point because you don't remember Logo, so that's pointless. But there's loads of stuff like that.
But it's bigger than that though, because you can't just go, oh, here's Snake on a phone. You get the concept of that. It works fine.
No. That's what I mean. We need to find, like I say, the ball in the old.
Yeah, that is. Oh, I could make that into a competition.
Okay, it's just some kind of small exercise ball.
It's for your reflexes or something, so you can your hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, exactly. But Dan,
cool.
I'm gonna let you go before Rick abandons you and goes mining with dwarves without you. And I've got some shit to fucking edit. So if you want to see some more of the aforementioned excellent stuff that's not shit, you go to podcastversusplayer.com. And on there, Dan, they can find podcasts, they can find spoilercasts, they can find Let's Plays, they can find game shows, they can find reviews. So many things to find. Go find them and have a look at them. And we'll see you on the next one. Dan, thanks for joining. Stop texting and wave, you animal. Bye.